The pig dissection has the larynx of the throat, the trachea, which is the shoulder throat, the thyroid gland, which is the center of the shoulders. The thymus is at the top of the lungs is the wing flaps, the heart is the center, the liver is the purple big thing, the spleen is the flap, the small intestine is the left squiggles, the large intestines is the right squiggles, the diaphragm is above the liver, the pancreas is a corn, the gallbladder is under the liver, and the ureter is next to the kidney, the colon is the center tube. Then we have the female reproductive system. The uterine tube is the top red tube. The suspensory ligament is the top white tube. The infundibulum is holding the egg. The fimbriae is the tips of the holding egg. The ovary is the egg. The uterus is the stake center. The perimetrium is outside uterus. The cervix is the bottom of the uterus. The vesicoturine pouch is the space behind the uterus. The urethra is the tube from the bladder. The mons pubis is the yellow area. The clitoris is the blue worm. The external urethra orifice is the tip of the bladder. The greatest vestibular gland is the cloud that's orange. The labium minus is the pink bottom area. The labium majus is the skin bottom area. The urogenital diaphragm is the pink rectangle. The anus is the butthole. The lumen is in the vagina is the worm. The anterior fornix is the right side of the claw in the vagina. The posterior fornix is the left side of the claw in the vagina. The rectouterine pouch is the space between the uterus and the rectum. The uterosacral ligament is the short white duct. The round ligament is the long white duct. The peritoneum is the skin sac that everything is held in. The reproductive vagina has the ovary, which is the egg, the fundus, which is the top of the egg. The uterine cavity is the lumen area, which is dark. The uterine tube has the ampulla, which is the mid of the tube. The isthmus, which is the beginning of the tube. Infundibulum, which is the end of the tube, and the fimbriae is the fingers. The wall of the uterus consists of the endometrium, myometrium, and perimetrium. Endo is the most inner, and peri is the most outer. Internal os is the bottom of the uterus. The cervical canal is the middle skinny tube. The external os is the bottom of the skinny tube. The vagina is the tube. The cervix is the wall above the vagina. The lateral fornix is the vagina quarters. The cardinal ligament is the white area next to the vagina. The uterosacral ligament is the light blue tube next to the vagina. The isthmus is the bottom ovary wall. The uterine blood vessels are blue and red. The ureter is the yellow tube. The bottom of the uterus is the wall. The ovarian ligament is the light blue tube next to the uterus. The broad ligament is made of the mesosalpinx, which is on top of the ovary. The mesovarium, which is next to the ovary. The mesometrium, which is under the ovary. Then the fallopian tube, I already know what that is. The suspensory ligament is the tube at the top right. Then you have egg and sperm formation, which is through meiosis. The product of female meiosis is one ovum and 3 polar bodies that are dead. And then for boys, they get 4 sperm cells. A zygote is a fertilized egg and it has 46 chromosomes. The primary oocyte and spermatocyte is in the first phase of meiosis. Then the secondary oocyte and spermatocyte is in the second phase. When there's 1 ovum and 3 polar bodies, they have 23. The sperm is made of acrosome, which is the tip of the head, the nucleus, which is within the head, the basal body, which is the bottom of the head. Then the mitochondria is the red tubes, the axoneme is the tail. The tail has a mid-piece, principal, and end piece, and the head is just the head of it. Then for the male reproductive system, there's the peritoneum, which is the walnut, the ureter, which is the tube, the ampulla of ductus deferens, which is the tube behind the bladder. The accessory glands include the seminal, which is the worm, the prostate, which is the orange circle, the bulbal urethra, which is the orange sphere, the urogenital diaphragm, which is the pink bottom layer. The anus is under the butt. The testes is the white egg. The scrotum is the egg sac. The external urethra orifice is the tip. The prepuce is the foreskin. The glans penis is the penis tip. The penis is made of corpus cavernosum, which is closer to the surface blue, and the corpus sphygosum is the deeper blue, and it's closer to the crotch area. Then the ovary anatomy includes the granulosa cell, which is the pink disc, the secondary follicle, which is the purple dot within the disc, the cortex, which is the yellow area bracketed, the tunica albuginea, which is the white border, the degenerating corpus luteum, it looks kind of like an anus, a surface epithelium, which is made of the outside. The primary follicles are the red flowers. The ovarian ligament is the white tube. The medulla is the tan center area. The corpus luteum is the yellow scrunchie. The developing corpus luteum is the smaller yellow scrunchie. The ruptured follicle is the pink dots around the tube. The corona radiae is the pink hole on the tube. The ovulated secondary oocyte is the red ball on the tube. Theca folliculi is the yellow area. The zona pellucida is the white ring around the ball. Secondary oocyte is the ball. Antrum is the moon shape. The vesicular follicle is holding the moon. The mesovarium blood vessel is the late secondary follicle, the second biggest disc. Then the ovarian is responsible for estrogen, progesterone production, and oocytes. And then the mammary gland is in front of the rib and skin area. The pectoralis major is where the ribs are. The suspensory ligament is the white area between the yellow top of the boob. The adipose tissue is the yellow fat. The lobe is the one tan ball. Then the alveolar and nipple are pretty self-explanatory. The opening of the lactiferous duct is the yellow hose. The lactiferous sinus is the yellow bulb. The lactiferous duct connects to the bulb. The lobule with alveoli is the last bottom tan area close to the underboob. Hypodermis is where the bottom ribs are. The intercostal muscle is under the last rib. Then for the perineum, it's the colorful one. The clitoris is the ball. The ramus of the pubis is the top green bone. The urethral orifice is the evil eye. The vestibular bulb is the left flap. The vaginal orifice is the vaginae hole. The ischial tuberosity is the bottom of the green bone. The anus is the hole under the vagina. The greater vestibular gland is the red ball. The periurethral gland is the vaginal wall. Then the skin is the mons, is where the pubic hair is. The prepuce of the clitoris is above the bean. The clitoris is the bean. The vestibula is the lips with the bracket area. The hymen is the light pink area. External urethra is the hole. The labial minora is the skin, and the labial majora is where the skin is not. The ovulation cycle has peak blue is LH, peak red is FSH, corpus luteum is a yellow flower, dominant follicle is a disc, ovulation is mushroom, degenerate corpus luteum is a dried flower, the green is progesterone, and the orange is estrogen, yellow worm is endometrial glands, and red is blood vessels. Then you have the vessels of the female reproductive system. Hormonal change causes spiral artery vasoconstriction, and this chavosis of stratum functionalis and menstrual flow. And then, so this is made of the aorta, the top of the tree trunk. The common iliac artery is the left of the bottom Y. The interior iliac artery is the small branch on the Y. The vaginal artery is the bottom parallel tube. The uterine artery is the top parallel tube. The spiral arteries are the tiny red ladder. The arcuate artery is the tiny red on top of the uterus. The mesosalpinx is the space within the tube. The ovary is the golden egg. The radial artery is under the ovary. The ovarian artery connects to the ovary. Suspensory ligament is the mop on the ovary, and the fallopian tube is on top. Then you have the ligaments, which are attached to the pelvic floor. The vagina is the main tube. The ovarian ligament is the inner ear. The mesovarium is the dip of the top ear. The mesosalpinx is the top close to the ear border. The uterine tube is the lobe of the ear. The suspensory ligament tube is at the top corner. The broad ligament tube is under the ovary. The round ligament tube is in the middle. The cardinal ligament is the tube with the bracket. The uterosacral ligament is the tiny tube closest to the vagina. Then you have male ejaculation, which has the seminal gland, which is the corn on the peritoneum. It empties to the ampulla. The prostate is below the bladder. The bulbal urethral gland duct is two spheres, and this empties to the penile urethra. The prostatic urethra is the orifices of the duct. The bulb of the penis is silver, and the crust of the penis is also silver, but the bulb of the penis is more like circular. Then you have the root, the body, and the glands. So the root is at the very top, then body, then glands. The cross-section of the penis looks like a peace sign. So you have the dorsal vessels / nerves, which are the tiny colorful rocks, the deep arteries, which are the orange dots, the corpus spogiosum, which is the bottom of the peace sign, the spongy urethra, which is the circle in the bottom peace sign part, the corpus cavernosa, which is the two peace sign halves, and the tunica albunea, which is the white filler area. Then you have the testes. The spermatic cord is the root. The blood vessels and nerves are the blue lines. The semifivus tubulo is the yellow cheese. The lobule is the piece of mac and cheese, like a slice. The septum is in between the cheese. The tunica vaginalis is the white lining. The cavity of the tunica is the ball sac. The tail of the epididymis is the ball penis tip. The duct epididymis is the penis intestines. The body epididymis is the chunk of intestine. The straight tubule is the base of the cheese branch. The right testes is the orange tubes. The efferent ductule is the tiny tubes. The head of the epididymis is the bracket area. The ductus is next to the red tube. Then you have the urethra, which is the red tube. The ductus is the tube to the testes. The ejaculatory duct, deep urethra make a V, and then the epididymis is next to the testes. Then for the digestive system, we have the gummy worm, which looks like a mouth, and that's also considered the oral cavity. The tongue, which is the pink oval parotid gland, which is the big brain. The sublingual gland, which is the brain under the tongue, and the submandibular gland, which is the PP under the tongue. The liver is the big right angle muscle. The esophagus is the long tube. The pharynx is the throat. The stomach is the sac under the liver. Pancreas is the corn. The spleen is behind the stomach. The gallbladder is the circle under the stomach. Small intestine is made of the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum, and the duodenum is under the stomach. Then in the center is jejunum, and the ileum is at the bottom. And then the large intestine is the transverse colon. It's horizontal. Then the descending colon, which is the right side of vertical. The ascending is the left side vertical. The cecum, which is the bottom of the ascending. The sigmoid is the last ball of the horizontal. The rectum is vertical. Then under the rectum is the anal shaft. Then under the anal shaft is the anus. Then for the mouth picture, you have the upper lip, the superior labial frenulum, which is the smiley, the gingiva, which is the gums, the palatine raphe, which is the center of the mouth roof, then the hard palate, which is closest to the teeth, the soft palate, which is closest to the uvula. The uvula is the dangly thing. The palatine tonsil is the food in the back corner. Sublingual fold with sublingual ducts is the three tiny dots. The oral vestibula is the bottom of the gums in the bottom mouth. The lower lip, inferior labial frenulum, is the bottom smiley. The opening on the submandibular duct is the two center holes. Lingual frenulum is under tongue anchor. The tongue, the oral pharynx posterior wall is at the back of the mouth. The phalotopharyngeal arch is behind the uvula. The palotoglossal arch leads to the uvula. Then we have the salivary glands. The tongue looks like a wave. The teeth, the parotid gland is the back brain. Parotid duct is the green tube. The masseter muscle is the cheek. The mandible body is the white bone jaw. The digastric muscle is the corner jawline. The submandibular duct is the green bottom tube in the bottom mouth. The submandibular gland is the bottom mouth. The anterior muscle belly anterior is the jawline chin. The myohyaloid muscle is above the jawline. The sublingual gland is under the tongue. The frenulum of the tongue is the line under the tongue. The duct of the sublingual gland looks like a rake, like four little rake things. The liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. The right and left hepatic liver duct is the tips of the green in the liver. The cystic duct loops to the gallbladder. That's the cystic duct. The common hepatic duct is the right V of the green. The bile duct and sphincter is the green going to the pancreas. The accessory pancreatic duct is the tube in the pancreas. The tail of the pancreas is the tip of the pancreas. The pancreas looks like the corn. The jejunum is the open tube under the pancreas. The main pancreatic duct and sphincter is the green tube in the pancreas. The head of the pancreas is on top of the tube. It's where the duodenum is. The duodenum is under the head of the pancreas, which is not where the tail is. It's like the inner area. The hepatopancreatic ampulla and sphincter is the green and pancreas tube, is where the green and pancreas tube meet. The major duodenal papilla is the little hole. The gallbladder is the green plankton. The mucosa with folds is the circle in all the gallbladders. Then the pancreas is the purple steak. The pancreatic islet is the blue flowers. The acinular cell is the yellow petals, and they secrete digestive enzymes. The pancreatic duct is the green branch. The duodenum of the small intestine is the open square. The bile duct is the green tube in the square, and that also does digestive enzymes. The bile duct from the gallbladder is the green branch upwards. The pancreas is the yellow cloud. The splenic artery is the red tubule. Alpha does glucagon, beta does insulin, and delta does somatostatin. Proteins digest protein and peptides. Then you have the teeth. The enamel is the white part. The dentin is the peak blue, and that makes up the crown. The dentinal tubules is the blue lines. The pulp cavity is the pink area close to the bottom of the teeth. The gingival sulcus is the pink next to the gum tooth. Then you have the gingiva gum, and the cement is the yellow line. The root canal is the skinny with vessels and nerves. Then you have the apical foramen, which is the bottom yellow, and the bone, which is the white sponge. Then the teeth have the crown on top, the neck in the middle, and the root on the bottom. Then you have the cube structure, has the rugae at the top and the gastric pit, and that kind of looks like tube legs. Then you have the rectangular prism structure, and the gastric pit is the craters on top. The surface mucus cells is light pink. The mucus neck is hot pink. The parietal cell is blue, and those secrete hydrochloric acid. The chief cells are purple, and they secrete pepsinogen, endocrine, and hormones, and paracrines. Then you have the tummy zoom picture, and the pyloric sphincter is the bottom tummy. The duodenum is the tummy tube, purple. The jejunum is the middle tube, that's blue. The ileum is the bottom tube, that's pink. The ileocal valve is the left large intestine, which is the bottom. The small intestine has the lumen dark area. The circular folds are the slide area. The villi is the tiny dots. The muscle layer is the layers. The blue vein carries blood to the hepatic portal vessel. Then you have the small intestine, which looks like the two hot dogs. The microvilli is the tip of the hot dog. The villus is the hot dog. The enteroendocrine cells is the green pills. The Paneth cells is the yellow pills. The venule is the blue tube. The lymphatic vessel is the green tube. Submucosa is the bottom spongy area. Duodenal gland is the yellow flower. Muscularis mucosae is the purple and the red tube. Intestinal crypt is kind of the well area. The mucosal associated with lymphoid tissue is the green honeycomb. The blood capillaries are red and blue vertical tubes. The goblet cells are light purple balls. Lacteal vertical green tube. The lacteal is the vertical green tube, and the enterocytes is the pink areas. Then you have the large intestine, which is the right colic flexure, which is in the top left corner. The transverse colon, which is the horizontal. The superior mesenteric artery, which is the tiny tube under. The haustrin, which is the singular ball. The ascending colon is on the left side. The ileum is the top of the snowman cutout. The iliacal valve is the open area right above the snowman colic. The cecum is the bottom ball. The appendix is horizontal line next to the cecum. The external anal sphincter is at the tip of the shaft. The anal canal is the entire shaft. The rectum is the penis shaft. Sigmoid colon is the right bottom. Tenia coli is the white center area. Mesentery is the yellow area. The descending colon is the right middle. The epipolic appendages is the yellow raindrops. The left colic flexure is at the top right. Then you have the liver lobule, the interlobal vein to the hepatic vein, which is the blue chunk. The central vein is the central T. The bile canuloci is the green coral. The bile duct is the green tube. The portal triad has the bile duct, branch of portal vein, and branch of hepatic artery. The liver lobule is the structural and functional unit of the liver. Macrophages are purple. Portal veins is the horizontal bottom vein. The sinusoids is the blue tracts. The plates of the hepatocytes are the pink plates.